Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Don't forget today is the day you can use your Buford Bucks to purchase things from the store. Um, Today is Tuesday, March 21st. Today we're going to do day 2 of similar figures notes, and this will be about missing measurements. And then there's a packet that I want you to um, complete similar figures proportions practice to give you some practice in finding these missing measurements. And then again, if you did not finish IXL AA14, you may go to that from Monday's assignment and complete that to 80% or higher. So let's get started with our do now. I'm hoping that you've had a chance to finish it. The scores on a mathematics test were 70, 55, 61, 80, 85, 72, 65, 40, 74, 68, and 84. Complete the accompanying table and use the table to construct a frequency histogram for these scores. All right, so let's look and see what we have. These are our scores here. So we're going to take these scores and we're going to tally every time we get a score that runs in this interval. And then once we finish, we'll tally everything up. So the first one is 70, and I'm going to put a check above it. And so 70 is going to go here, tally mark. And then I have 55. 55 will go here, tally mark. 61 goes here. 80 goes here. 85 goes here. 72 goes here. 65 goes here. 40 goes here. 74 is going to go here. 68 is going to go here. And then 84 is going to go here. So once we have our tallies, we can do our frequency. From 40 to 49, there was one student. From 50 to 59, there was one student. From 60 to 69, there were 3 students. For 70 to 79, there were 3 students. And 80 to 89, there were 3 students. Okay, so they gave you this grid to create your frequency histogram. And I'm going to name it math scores. Math scores. And I apologize if you can hear the television in the back because I am watching the NCAA, even though the Cavaliers got knocked out first round. Okay. On this side is always the word frequency. And this frequency is the number of students that made that score. And since we only have to go to 3 and we have so many, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. So I think I'm going to count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be my 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be my 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be my 3. So my 1 line, my 2 line, my 3 line. So now I need to put my intervals here. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So every third one is going to be an interval. And I'll be left with one column with nothing in it. So intervals are 40 through 49. And if you didn't do this, please make sure you do this because you will see this on the SOL test. Again, most of you did really well on the histogram test. I'm proud of you. And 60 through 69, 70 through 79, and then 80 through 89. So this is what it should look like before we put our bars in. All right, so let's make our bars. 40 to 49 had 1, so I'm going to go up here to my 1 line. Okay. And then 50 to 59 had 1. So we'll come back over here. There's my 1. 60 to 69 had 3. So that's going to go all the way up here. Oops. Again, another reason not to use a pen, because when you mess up, you can't erase it. 70 to 79 had 3. And then 80 to 89 had 3 as well. The majority of the class scored between 60 and 89. Now I'm going to shade this in just so you can see. My pencil shading doesn't show up too good. So, and that's what your histogram should look like, but I did not put this is the scores. So I didn't completely do that correctly. This goes into your math folder, not on the floor, not in the desk, not in somebody else's desk. Place it in your math folder, and then go to today, Tuesday, March 21st. Open up Similar Figures Day 2 notes, missing measurements, and I'll pause this and give you a chance to get that out. Okay, I know I said to get it out, but what I meant was for you to open it on Canvas so that you can annotate it and submit it as complete. And then that way I know that you've completed it. You'll have it on your drive to review for the mastery check. And parents can also look at it to make sure that you've completed it. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. All right, so let's look at similar figures. How to find a missing measurement. Step 1, determine the corresponding sides. Step 2, set up a proportion. Step 3, cross multiply. Use the butterfly method to solve for the missing length. And then step 4, label your answer and check your work. Okay, so again, we're going back to our unit on proportions to solve for the missing measurement. Okay, and again, I am going to use 2 different colors to match my corresponding sides. Okay, so in this one, we have triangle ABC and triangle DEF. So I'm looking to see which sides have measurements on them. So this side and this side has measurements, and this side and this side. So if we're doing corresponding sides, this side AB, and you can use any color you want to highlight that side so you can know these are the 2 that's going to make a ratio to form the two proportions. And then this is side DE. Okay. And then I have side AC, and my larger one corresponds with side DF in my smaller one. So I am going to write the proportions before I enter the information on the sides. So side AB, which is my blue, corresponds to side DE. So that's the first ratio, this one to this one, and it's going to equal the ratio of my bottom sides, which is AC and DF. So you want to get in the habit of writing that out so that you don't confuse the measurement size and get the wrong answer, because you know the SOL is going to have that answer on there. And because you worked it out so nice and well, you'll see the answer and you'll circle it. But you got to make sure that the sides are corresponding. Okay? So now we can go in and set up our proportion. What is the measure of side AB? 15 inches, and I'm just going to put 15. And then side DE is 6 inches. So we have 15 over 6 is equal to, what's the measure of side AC? Side AC is 20. And side DF is X. That's the unknown. Okay? Does that look familiar? Yep, I told you everything we learn in math, we always spiral back. It comes back later on in units that we're doing. And now we're going to do our butterfly. So there are our wings, my antenna. What is 15 times X? Correct, 15X. What is 6 times 20? Make sure you're using Desmo. 120. Pull it down just a little bit so you can see my butterfly. So now we take that, and we know that these two equal each other because two ratios form a proportion. Excuse me. All right, so now we have 15X equals 120. Okay, isolate that variable. What am I dividing both sides by? Correct, 15. So when I do that, I'm left with X on the left. 120 divided by 15 in your Desmos. Ding, 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 ding. What is it? 8. Correctly. 8. 8 what? The measurement is inches, so make sure you put inches behind it. Okay? Pretty simple, huh? If we match up our corresponding sides, set up the proportion correctly, you can find out what that missing side is, just like we did when we were solving proportions for the missing quantities. Right? So I'm going to slide this one up a little bit so you can see it. So now we have a quadrilateral. It works the exact same way. So I have this small one to this large one. I'm going to use my same colors again. All right. So if I'm looking this side here, it's going to match up with this side here. Okay. And then because this side and this side have numbers, I'm going to use that one here and here. So then we're going to match up our orange to orange, blue to blue. Well, let's see what these side lengths are. So orange to orange. So the small one is 2. The large one is X. That's our unknown. And then on this one, the small one is 3. And our large one is 18. Okay? So now let's do our butterfly wings. Antenna, antenna. What is 2 times 18? Ding, 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 ding. 2 times 18 is 36. Good job. What is 3 times X? 3X. Yes, 3X. So now we know these two are equal. So we're going to do 36 is equal to 3X. Or some of you may wrote it 3X equals 36 with the variable on the left. It doesn't matter. You still get the same answer each way. Okay, I'm going to isolate my variable. What am I dividing both sides by? You're right, 3. Do the same thing on this one. We did it this way. All right, 36 divided by 3. Do, 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 do. Correct. 12 equals, these two cancel out. I'm left with X. So if we did it this way where 3X equals 36, excuse me, 3 divided by 3 is X. 36 divided by 3 is 12, and this is inches as well. Okay, 12 inches is the answer to that one. Alrighty, let's look at this SOL question here. And it is definitely an SOL question. It is also a mastery check question that you will see. Okay, so how many triangles do you see? 2. Good job, whoever said 2. I am going to, so my big one is this. That's my big one. Where's my small one? Correct, the small one is here. Does everybody see that? All right, so let's look at this small one. What's the measure of this side of this small one right here? Exactly, it's 4. And what's the measure of the base of this triangle? Good job, it's 12. Okay. Now, what's the measure of the side of my large one? It's split into 2 parts. We have 20 and 4. When that happens, you need to add these 2 pieces together. 20 plus 4 gives you 24. So this side right here is 24. Okay. So now to set up our proportion, we're going to do blue to blue. So 4 to 12, because this side to this side. And now the large one. This whole side is 24. The 24. And what's that base? We don't know. That's the X. Okay? So remember, when you have this, there are going to be 2 triangles. This is the smaller one. This right here is the larger one. The smaller one is going to take the side measure from the tip to wherever this endpoint stops. Okay? And then the base gives you that measurement. For the larger one, you're going to have to add these 2 together to get the total side length. All right, we'll be doing more like this so that you'll be ready for the mastery check on Monday, March 27th, which hopefully will be my first day back. Okay? Cross multiply. 4 times x gives me 4x. 12 times 24 into your Desmos. Do, 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 do. 12 times 24 is. Do, 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 do. What is 12 times 24? 288. So let's rewrite this. 4x equals 288. Let's isolate that variable. What am I dividing both sides by? 4. 288 divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, which gives me my x. 288 divided by 4. In your Desmos, please. And the answer is 72. And this one is also inches. Okay? Remember, you can pause this video at any time. Have the teacher pause it, or if you're listening to it, if you're absent or doing it at home, you can pause it at any time to play catch up. All right, we got 2 more, which are word problems. Don't you love word problems? Let's see what it says. A man that is 6 feet tall casts a shadow that is 3 feet long. Find the height of a tent that casts a 5-foot shadow. So when you get these word problems, the first thing I want you to do is draw. Now I'm going to use my pencil now because, I'm not an artist. And don't laugh at my little stick figure. So here's my man. And how tall is he? He's 6 feet tall. So So here is going to be 6 feet. That represents his height. And it says he's standing there, the sun is shining, he's casting a shadow, and the shadow is 3 feet long. Okay? So this is his shadow, and that is 3 feet. So now it says find the height of the tent. Do we know how tall the tent is? No. So for this tent, I'm going to draw that line, and I'm going to put this X. Okay, because we don't know what the height is. But it did tell us that the shadow is 5 feet. 5 feet. Okay. So now that we have that, and I'm going to go back to my pen so that you can see. We're going to set up our proportion. So the height of the man and the height of the tent form a ratio. 6 is to X. And then the shadows. 3 is to 5. Okay? So if you draw the picture, you see that his height and the tent height, and then the shadow to shadow. So now let's do our butterfly. All right, what's 6 times 5? 30. What's 3 times X? 3X. So we have 30 equals 3X. Let's isolate my variable. What am I dividing both sides by? Exactly, 3. 3 divided by 3 leaves me with X. What's 30 divided by 3? 10. So the height of the tent is 10 feet. All right, you can pause the video if you need to play catch up. All right, our final word problem question is Brentwood, Maryland, and Fairfax, Virginia are 76 kilometers from each other. How far apart would the cities be on a map that has a scale of 1 centimeter to 19 kilometers? So when you see that, you know we're doing centimeters to kilometers. So let's set up our proportion. All right, they are 76 kilometers from each other. So we know that 76 is there. And then it tells us that our scale is 1 centimeter to 19 kilometers. Centimeters to kilometers. We don't know because it's asking you how far apart. That's my X. Okay? Do our butterfly. 19 times X is 19X. 1 times 76 is 76. Right? So 19X equals 76. Isolate my variable. What am I dividing both sides by? You're right, 19. What is 76 divided by 19? In your Desmos, please don't do it in your head and get the wrong answer. These two cancel out. So I'm left with X equals 76 divided by 19 is 4. What unit was that in? Centimeters. Gonna pause it. Okay. Ready for the next page, which is determining the unknown angle, measures, and missing sides of a similar polygon. And they could be quadrilaterals or triangles. So one thing you have to remember is that the sum of the angles of a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. So 3 angles, you add them up together, they will equal 180. If you only have the measure of two angles, you add those two and subtract it from 180 to find the third one. And in quadrilaterals, the sum of the angles equal 360 degrees. There will be four angles that you will add up together, and it has to equal 360 degrees for a quadrilateral. So let's look at this. It says the triangles are similar, and although we have some quadrilaterals in here, they are similar as well. So here is my large triangle and my small triangle. So if I was to cut this out and lay this over, you will see this 90 matches with this 90, this 20 matches with this 20. What's the value of x? What's left? It's that 70 degrees, and make sure you put that degree symbol. Okay? If you didn't know that these corresponding angles are congruent, you could have added 90 plus 20, and you get 110. And then you subtract 180 minus 110, the sum of those two angles, and you still will get 70. So the answer is 70 degrees. Okay? Same thing with corresponding angles in a quadrilateral. If I was to cut this small one out and lay it inside of this large one, you see that this 110 degrees matches with this one. This 70 degrees matches here, which is Z. So what is Z going to be? It's going to be 70 degrees. What is this angle here going to be? That one's going to be 70 as well. And then what is this one? 110 degrees. Now, we haven't talked about properties of quadrilaterals, but when we get there, you notice that opposite angles are congruent in a quadrilateral. But that's the next unit, but I just gave you a little snippet of what's coming up. So the value of angle Z is 70 degrees. Don't forget to put the little degree symbol. Okay? Now we have this triangle. Oh, I went out of order. I went to number 4. So number 2, if I was to cut this triangle out and set it in here, this angle and this angle are corresponding. This angle and this angle are corresponding. So what is the value of y? It's going to be 30. So the value of y is 30 degrees. And I left off the degree symbol. So how am I going to find this x? 70 plus 30 equals what? 100. Then I subtract that 100 from 180. What do I get? 80 degrees. So x is 80 degrees. Okay? You use your given information, and knowing that the sum of the angles of a triangle equals 180, you add the two given, and then subtract that from 180, and you will get your missing angle. I'm going in order now. I'm going to number 3. Okay? What is the value of x? So if I was to cut this small triangle out, put it inside this large one, this is 29. So what is this one going to be? 29. All right? If this is 71, what is this one going to be? 71. So then if this is 80 degrees, what is x? 80. My little degree symbol. All right, so we did number 4 out of order. So now we're going to go to number 5. This quadrilateral, the sum of the angles in the quadrilateral add up to be 360. If I was to cut this quadrilateral out, lay it inside here, angle A is going to be 98 degrees. Angle C is going to be 82 degrees. Angle B is going to be 98 degrees. And angle D is going to be 82 degrees. So what is the measure? That's what that M stands for, of angle A. Angle A is going to be 98 degrees. All right. So now I have a rhombus. So this one is 108 degrees. This one is 108 degrees. That's 72. So this angle and this angle are corresponding. What about these two? 108, 108. How can I find out what the measure of angle D is? If I was to cut this out and slide it over, you see that this will be the same. So it's going to be 108 degrees. We will do more on the missing angle measures later in the week. But for now, you're going to go and do go back to Canvas. After you submit that page right there that we just did, go back to Canvas for today. And you're going to go to the probability practice assignment, which is on, not probability, similar figures. Probability was 2 units ago. So you're going to the similar figures proportions practice, and you're going to set up proportions to solve for the similar figures. This is due on Wednesday. So if you don't finish it today, you must finish it by Wednesday so that it's not late and not marked as missing. You have enough time in class to get started on it and get a good portion of it done. If you should happen to finish it, which you shouldn't, or if you have questions, the teacher has an answer key. They won't give you the answer, but they will tell you to look at what you've written down so that it makes sense for you to solve it. So that's it for today. If you did not finish your IXL or your vocabulary booklet, once you finish the proportions practice, then you are to go to that. Again, Securely is running, and I do not want to have to send parents another email about you not being where you need to be for math class. So in math, we do math. We don't do other classes, and we don't search the internet for anything. All right. Have a great Tuesday, terrific Tuesday. Stay well. Be great. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning.